These next two stories were uploaded to shortlist.com by Harvey Day, January 9th, 2018. Sheila Young, who works as a preschool carer in Troy, Montana, she says her and her family were abducted by aliens, and that was the most horrific experience of her life. The 53-year-old told me, in the fall of 1989, me, my then husband, and our 3 children were abducted and terrorized every night for 6 months. My children, who are all grown up, all suffer still from PTSD from our experience. She explained, we lived on an 8 acres in a semi-remote location in northwest Montana when our abduction began. I believe the incident started in October. It was fall for sure, because it really negatively affected my then husband while he was hunting. It was the most horrific and terrorizing experience I have ever encountered to this day. My husband and 3 children were playing family games in our room when my husband and I saw a streak of fire shooting across the sky. We went outside and saw whatever it was seemed to have crashed or fallen from the sky on the upper part of our land. We investigated the next day, as it was too dark at the time to see anything. We did notice the treetops seemed to be burnt, but we found no evidence of anything that had fallen or crashed. The next evening was a normal evening. We put the children to bed, and my husband and I turned in for the evening. Around 3 a.m., we were awoke by bright lights coming through our entire house, and we were both keenly aware that we were being watched. Recalling what she says was her encounter with the extraterrestrials, Sheila added, I have a scar where I remember being hooked up to some sort of IV monitor night after night with hundreds of other humans. Those days and hours are etched into my memories. We did report the incident to our pastor, who came and did a house blessing, which seemed to help. And that was the end of our first story. It just ends right there. There hasn't been any other report that I've seen, so I'm not really sure what happened to this family, if they got away, they moved, or what could have happened to them. But it seems this blessing from their pastor seemed to help, which makes me kind of think it might have been something else, not actually aliens, maybe something more of the spiritual realm. That's just my guess. But let's move on to the next story. And Sheila's not the only person to have shared her story on Reddit. A Redditor wrote, I had an awful experience that I know could not have been a nightmare, because I kept getting flashbacks and a feel of sick with fear when I remember. I woke up. There were people surrounding me, or things. I can't remember what they looked like. I screamed and ran to my mom's room, but she couldn't hear me. When I pulled the cover from her head, nobody was there. Everything sort of melted around me. So the story goes on. There was a cannula in my hand, and there was a white fluid in a syringe. I screamed, and then they put the fluid through the cannula. It hurt so much. It felt like it was burning inside me, and I remember the pain. I almost blacked out with the pain. I felt smoke in my throat, and it tasted acidic and thick. I pushed my way out of this tube, and I ran. I kept on running. They held me down and put more of this liquid in me. The pain almost killed me. Then I blacked out, and I was back in my room. All night, I tossed and turned in pain, and I realized my voice had totally been silenced. The thick smoke in my throat muffled my voice. I screamed to them to take it out. I did not wake up until 1600 hours in the afternoon, and my mom had to come wake me up because it was so late. The veins in my hand are sticking out, and I feel itching and stinging pain inside my fingers. I took painkillers, but nothing helped. And that was our second story. Again, like the first one, the way it ended, it just stopped. There was no follow up. Not sure what happened to this individual. If it was all just an extreme, vivid nightmare, or could have been just himself inflicting damage to his body. Not really sure what was going on with this individual, but if he was, you know, abducted, hopefully he'll get some kind of help somewhere from somebody who's been through this. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, could you do me a big favor and hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below, and if you have any stories you want me to read, please send them to the email on screen and I'll be glad to read them for you. And remember, have a creepy night.